This is the story of a kid born into cartel royalty, the son of a feared hitman, the nephew of one of Sinaloa's most violent enforcers, the boyfriend of a drug lord's daughter. By the time most teenagers were doing homework, Raul Meza Torres was already learning how to kill. He posed with rifles bigger than his body. He led police into shootouts before he could legally drive, and by 18 he was dead, shot by the same violence he embraced. This is El Mini 6, the spoiled kid who became Sinaloa Cartel's youngest hitman. Born into cartel royalty, Raul Meza Torres was born in 1992 in Culiacan, Sinaloa, the heart of Mexico's drug world. From birth, his life was anything but normal. His father, Raul Meza Felix, known as LM6, was a powerful figure in the Sinaloa cartel. His mother, Blanca Margarita Torres Felix, came from an equally notorious bloodline. Her brothers were legends in the cartel world. Manuel LM1 Torres, one of the cartel's most violent hitmen, and Javier LJT Torres, all worked under the legendary Ismael El Mayo Zambada. Raul was cartel royalty before he could walk. Even his sister Adriana Meza Torres was connected. She became the girlfriend of Ovidio Guzman, one of El Chapo's sons. People called Raul El Mini 6, a reference to his father, LM 6. Others called him Raulito, or Little Raul. The kid who wanted to be a soldier. From a young age, Raul idolized his father and wanted to be just like him. By age 9, he was already posing for photos in military gear, holding rifles almost as tall as he was. While other kids worried about school, Raul was pretending to be a soldier in his family's war. He grew up surrounded by everything money could buy: sports cars, the newest phones, constant protection from armed men. But in that world, privilege came with enemies. The death that changed everything. When Raul was just 15, everything changed. His father, LM6, was killed in March 2007, gunned down during clashes with rival factions in the army. Losing his father didn't break Raul, it lit a fire in him. At the funeral, a narco corrido written for his father included a chilling line: "A fighting rooster died, but he left behind a little chick. I'm off to rest. I leave Raulito in charge." In Sinaloa's narco culture, that was more than a tribute. It was a passing of the torch. Raul took it to heart. The drug lord's daughter. Soon after, Raul started dating Teresita Zambada Niebla, one of El Mayo's daughters. A teenager with a drug lord's princess as his girlfriend was the ultimate status symbol. He was young, rich, and fearless, living in a world where danger was just another part of life. Social media stardom in the cartel world. By 15, Raul was already an active member of the Sinaloa cartel. Locals whispered about El Mini 6, the kid hitman, and Raul loved the attention. In 2012, he turned to social media. On Facebook and Metroflog, he posted pictures that shocked authorities. Teenage Raul in full tactical gear, with AK-47 slung across his chest, holding a Barrett .50 caliber rifle. A weapon powerful enough to take down helicopters, posing with gold-plated AK-47s. Photos of bullet-riddled cars with captions like, "After a confrontation," and countless pictures with his girlfriend, Teresita Zambada. His online fans, yes, he had fans, hyped him up in comments, saying he'd be as big as his father one day. But fame has a price. And for El Mini 6, it came fast and brutally. The first arrest, bulletproof SUV at 15, October 2007. Just 6 months after his father's murder, 15-year-old Raul led police into one of his first run-ins with the law. He and 2 friends, including corrido singer Arlie Perez, also a teenager, were cruising Culiacan in a bulletproof SUV with no license plates. Transit police pulled them over. Raul couldn't show ownership papers. No surprise. The truck probably came straight from a cartel stash. He was arrested. A minor caught in an armored vehicle surrounded by armed friends. But in Sinaloa, money talks. Raul was released almost immediately. The message was clear. El Mini 6 was already acting like a young kingpin, complete with bodyguards, armored cars, and a sense of invincibility. The shootout that made him wanted. June 19, 2009. The 17-year-old and his crew took their love for adrenaline to the streets, drag racing through a Culiacan neighborhood after midnight. Neighbors called police. Officers showed up to break it up. Raul and his friends could have just driven off. Instead, they chose violence. As police approached, several young gunmen jumped out of two cars, a Jeep Cherokee and a Nissan, and opened fire. A wild shootout erupted in the middle of the city. Bullets flew, echoing through the night like a scene from an action movie. Only this was real life. The attackers escaped into the darkness, abandoning the bullet-riddled Jeep at the scene. When investigators searched it, they hit the jackpot. The vehicle was registered to Raul Meza Torres with stolen plates, boxes of ammunition, and empty shell casings scattered across the seats. One officer had been wounded. Suddenly, El Mini 6 wasn't just a spoiled kid playing with guns. He was now wanted for attempted murder, groomed by kingpins. By then, Raul's name carried weight. In the underworld, Meza Torres meant power, and his violent escapades only fed the myth. He was still under 18, but people already whispered about the teenage hitman who answered to no one. And Raul wasn't alone. He was reportedly taken under the wing of Nacho Coronel, one of the Sinaloa cartel's top bosses who ran Jalisco territory. By 2009, Mini 6 was already moving beyond his hometown, meeting with high-level cartel figures in Guadalajara. A kid who should have been finishing high school was instead sitting in meetings with veteran drug lords. Raul was being fast-tracked through the ranks. He had the family name, the attitude, and now the trust of kingpins. The final night, April 25, 2010. By April 2010, Raul Meza Torres was 18 years old, armed to the teeth, and riding high on cartel business far from home. The Mexican military and police were actively hunting cartel figures like him, and Raul wasn't exactly keeping a low profile. April 25, 2010. Early hours of a Monday morning in Zapopan, Jalisco, a suburb of Guadalajara. Raul and 22-year-old Fidel Rojas Felix were cruising through the dark in a Dodge Ram pickup. Little did they know their life of fast cars and guns was about to reach a violent end. Shortly after 3 a.m., municipal police officers on routine patrol spotted the Ram truck driving suspiciously through the Los Angeles neighborhood. The officers decided to pull it over for what should have been a simple traffic stop. For a moment, Raul could have played it cool, but that wasn't his style. As Officer Antonio Morales Dominguez approached the driver's side, Raul and Fidel stepped out holding handguns. They fired shots into the air, taunting the cops, trying to scare them off. Police shouted for them to calm down and surrender, but Raul was past the point of turning back. In that adrenaline-charged moment, he made a fatal choice. He raised his 9mm Colt Commander and shot Officer Morales in the head, killing him instantly. It was a horrific escalation. Raul had now murdered a police officer. The final bullets. But the other cop on the scene, Officer Jose Luis Monroy, reacted immediately. He returned fire as Raul tried to aim at him next. Bullets tore through the night. Raul was hit multiple times. Monroy's shots found their mark, bringing the young hitman down. In the chaos, Fidel Rojas panicked. He watched his friend collapse, then ran, climbing onto a nearby rooftop to escape. Minutes later, backup units surrounded the area and found Rojas hiding on the roof. He was arrested without further resistance. Police recovered Raul's pistol and Rojas's .38 Super, along with magazines of ammunition scattered across the truck's interior. As for El Mini 6, he lay bleeding on the ground as officers called for an ambulance. They rushed him to a private hospital, fighting to save his life. But it was too late. Raul Meza Torres was pronounced dead around 3:40 a.m. The spoiled kid turned cartel killer had met his violent end, just as many had predicted. At 18 years old, the legend lives on. News of the shootout spread fast. Not only had police killed a cartel gunman, they soon realized who he was. The infamous son of LM6, the nephew of LM1, a narco prince. Raul's body was claimed by his family and sent back to Culiacan that same day. 3 days later, they laid Raul to rest in a silver casket under tight security as mournful corridos played in the background. He was only 18. In death, El Mini 6 quickly became more than just a name. The same narco culture that shaped him in life turned him into a legend. Almost overnight, new corridos started appearing, celebrating his life and violent end. Some had been written while he was alive. One came from his friend, singer Arly Perez. Another, by Los Buchones de Culiacan, praised his military style, his love for action, and the famous AK-47 he loved to pose with. Conclusion: the price of cartel royalty, Raul El-Mini 6. Mesa Torres lived fast and died young. Born into privilege, raised in violence, groomed by kingpins, he died trying to prove himself. One day he was posting photos with guns and his girlfriend. The next, he was gone. He never made it to 19, never escaped the world that raised him, never got the chance to choose a different path. His story is a brutal reminder. In the cartel world, even royalty isn't safe. Privilege doesn't protect you, and fame built on violence always ends the same way. El-Mini 6 wanted to be remembered. He got his wish, but not the way he imagined.